It's a great communication tool.
It's available for all the students to see.
You have the best of both worlds.
The online classroom is a platform for communication. It's a place to reinforce your coursework and your materials that you hand out. It's a home base for the student and a place for interaction where faculty can individually consult with their students. It offers me the ability to post all of my assignments so that if a student misses a class, they're not trying to track me down, they're not calling me during office hours, they're not trying to track classmates down to get the work.
If you have a problem and you're working on a project, you just email it to the teacher and she gets back to you within that day or the next day. The feedback is immediate. You don't have to wait a week like your next class.
Often students need help. They can email me. When I give them assignments, they may be confused about how to do the math that's involved or how to plot a graph, and I can almost instantly get back to them.
Instructors have a lot of different options in terms of how they set up an online course. Some use email heavily, some use discussion boards heavily, some use media and PowerPoints and so forth, and it's very, very different between instructors, it's very different between courses.
I like it because really the students have to really take responsibility for their learning, so that requires them to do a lot of reading. In the classroom I found a lot of students didn't read as much. They kind of come to class and kind of wing it and see what you were lecturing or giving notes on and then maybe go back and read if necessary. Here the reading's up front, so everyone's got a good foundation of the material before the work starts.
My first day, I didn't have anything up on WebCT, and I sort of threw up all this material on the board and I started going. The first thing is the anxiety is very high. So you see them, scribbling and kind of lost, and then I started putting stuff up on WebCT and the anxiety level just completely gone. It's almost like the worrying about getting all the information down was getting in the way of their actually listening and actually learning.
We get stuff in the classroom, and then we have readings and such that we are specifically online readings that we access through WebCT, and the one and the other, they just both add up.
One of the things we talk about in visual communication is reinforcing the message that you're trying to get through and sending that message over different channels. With WebCT, I can send the messages to the students in several different ways. I can put a video clip up, I can send them a PowerPoint, I can send them an email, I can post an assignment description. Anything that I want to get across to the student, I can say it in class, but I can also put it on there so that they'll see it over and over. Everything that I do is posted online. So it's an open forum for what I've done, where I've been, and where I'm going.
One of the exciting aspects of this next generation software that we're buying is called Vista, is that you can in fact share content.
We have several adjuncts that are running the same course as I am, and we would like the students to have the same experience. So we upload the same e-pack into their site, so their site initially looks very similar to ours. I also make available to them a template of my course outline in its electronic form, so that all they need to do is to modify it, and then we can upload that into their site. So that if you look at an adjunct site and you look at my site, they look almost identical.
As the textbook publishers produce better material, which are called e-packs, and as more and more becomes public domain, and as the technology becomes faster, for example, with media, what the instructor has today on their website in terms of how they do the course and the content is going to be very, very different from tomorrow or next year.
Well, fortunately, the publisher that I have creates what is called an e-pack file. It's a file that I download to my ID, and it's something that I can start with. From there, I may add my own presentations of focusing on a certain element that I really think is important, like if they're creating term papers, how to follow the Modern Language Association documents. So I will add my content there that I feel is lacking from the publisher side. So I do work with a shell, and then I do customize from there, and I feel that's a good blend. One thing that I have done where students are working with other students through the WebCT is I do a peer evaluation assignment, and they're able to email each other and provide each other feedback on their project. It also allows them to demonstrate their own knowledge in critiquing someone else's work.
A lot of times we have like a weekly discussion, and I'll post a question and the students are required to respond to my question or to another student's response to that question. So it's not, everyone's not always responding to the same thing, and that allows the students to gear in towards an area of their interest.
People can post their thoughts online, others can respond to it, and there is always a link. So there is a thread which follows through. You can go back at any point in time to whatever topic that you are concerned about, pick it up and answer to it again.
When they do group projects, they also have a separate discussion area just for the group. So the group can communicate on a regular basis and not have to worry about outsiders and that sort of thing.
Students will get the best of the best. Right now, they get the best of you. And you might think somebody else might have a little bit better section, part of a course. And as long as you've got those agreements in place, the students will be able to benefit from the best stuff that's available at the college. In fact, if you set it up right, the best stuff available in Connecticut.
I just like the flexibility, and I like the one-on-one attention you're receiving through email and the help you receive.
WebCT keeps me on task as well as keeping the students on task. I'm committed to the assignments that we're going to be doing. I've posted them, they know where we're going. If there's something that I haven't covered that they were looking forward to, they'll tell me. What about this piece, or can we add that to the content module, and I will do that.
When they have a question, they can immediately ask me the question. They can just shoot me an email. When they want to revise or reread something, it's there. They're able to sign on when they want to. So it's a way to always be there for the student.
It fits into your work day or your personal day, and that that helps me out. I have a 40-hour job, I have other commitments, and I can do this at times when I want to do it.
When my students take a quiz, as soon as they hit submit, it gives them feedback. This is your grade, this is what you did wrong, this is what you did right, here's where you can find your wrong answers at. And that type of assessment we can't provide in the classroom. You might get the quiz back next week. We might go over it, we might not.
I can check my grades anytime, any place. I do not have to come to college. I do not have to be dependent on fixing a time, an appointment with my teacher. They just post it online, you go, you log in, and you have them there.
If we really look to benefit from the technology and utilize it, I think we can be much more successful. And it's here to stay, and the students are versed in it. It takes them a little while to get comfortable, but some of our students are very savvy when it comes to technology and really like it. So it caters to different learning styles too, and we got to consider that.
The students really take to it, and then it's just a much more, I think, from my experience, is a much more positive learning experience for them, and teaching experience for me. It takes a lot of anxiety off.